everybody. Welcome to the Truth Will Set You Free show. I'm your host, Linda Diane Wattley, and this show is brought to you by TLBTV and the Liberty Beacon Project. I always enjoy my guests. I have a guest that I had before, and I had to get her back. I enjoy Celeta McCall. We are both veterans, and we are both excited about sharing messages to America. And hopefully that people will consider what we have to say, because this country needs all the help it can get. Our veterans need all the help that they can get. Mm-hmm. And Celeta is a pioneer. She is no joke. Advocate to the max. She is such a joy to have on my show. I really appreciate you coming back.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We decided to call this segment Two Veterans and a Cup of Coffee because we want to share our thoughts, and we feel that you're going to enjoy them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because we care.
Because we care. That's right.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Celeta.
Oh, okay. I'm Celeta McCall, and I'm a writer, activist, student, full-time student, working on my master's in teachers leadership because I saw that there is a gap somewhere in education, and I wanted to be that person to help fill that gap. My activism is I help other people with problems, not only just veterans, but our everyday people who are dealing with a lot of injustices when it comes to us. I share stories about injustices when it comes to anybody, not just only African Americans, but anybody else who have issues that want to talk about it. I am the owner and operator of UCN, which is Universal Collective Network. We have a show that comes on Facebook 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and we have all kinds of guests that come on, and most of it is different situations that are going on locally. We try to get a lot of the local news in, and worldwide news, things that are going on happening in other places. With that, I get a chance to meet some wonderful people in that realm, and I told Ms. Wattley that she has to definitely come on this show. She's been on my other show, but this one, that we're actually going to be on Facebook. And when we're on Facebook, we're restreaming out to Roku, Apple TV, Periscope, and Twitter. So you have all those avenues to view the show. And we also, the young man who produces my show actually restreams us to Roku, Apple TV, Periscope, Twitter, and also in our, they have a public access channel that we also on. And it's on 4 different channels. And I think it's 6 parishes because we have parishes here instead of counties. And like 6 different parishes. So the show has opportunity to go through the cycle of being on more than once, and that's what I love so much. I love that so much. Sometimes I do live shows. I go to an hour away from where I'm at and go do shows up there live on television. So yeah, those are the opportunities I've been given, that God has given me and blessed me with people in my life that helps me with my passion and my vision. So that's enough about me. You know, I talk. But yes, that's what I do. And I love the ideal of helping people. It's hard for me to say no. So that's enough about me.
And one of the things that we have a great concern for as a veteran is post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD.
Yes.
And what recently have taken place, we have a great concern about that and how it came about. Would you give us an idea of what actually happened? Because it's kind of sad. It's more than just kind of, it's very sad. It was one of our veterans.
It's very sad. You guys know I think this happened March the 9th, which was Friday, I think. Was it Thursday or Friday? In California, in Yountville, California, there was a gunman who killed 3 people who worked for a California program that treats veterans for post-traumatic stress disorder, was kicked out of the program. A relative of one of the victims said. I'm thinking, before I go any further, just to get someone a kind of clear indication. This was a nonprofit organization that was an outsource for the veterans, for the VA, I'm thinking. And with it being a nonprofit organization, I guess they have authority to release people out their program if they're not complying with the rules and regulations and the policies procedures. So that's probably what happened to this young man. His name was Albert Wong. He was 36, and he was identified who went to the Pathway House Therapy Center. So it was an outsource. On a sprawling campus of the largest veterans' homes in the country, and took a psychologist and 2 executive hostages. It says Wong slipped into a going away party for 2 employees of the Pathway home. Gunshots were fired around 10:30 a.m. after he arrived at the veterans' home of California Yountville. It says, but nothing more was heard from him or the women until their bodies were found at 6 p.m., which, you know, we couldn't understand why so long, 6 p.m. Also, it says, I'm trying to make it move around here. It says they went to his car, they found his car, and they had bomb sniffing dogs there. Didn't find no bombs. It says killed were program executive director Christine Lober, who was 48, a clinical director, Jennifer Golick, which was 42, and Jennifer Gonzalez, which was 29, a clinical psychologist with the San Francisco Department of Veterans Affairs Healthcare System. So she worked with the VA. It says these brave women were accomplished professionals who dedicated their careers to serving our nation's veterans, working closely with those in the greatest needs of attention after deployments in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Pathway Home said in a statement, it says Governor Jerry Brown said flags will be flown at half-staff at the Capitol, and said that he and his wife are deeply saddened by the horrible violence. Golick was the top psychologist at the nonprofit home, which treats combat veterans of Iraq and Afghanistan. She had called her husband at 10:30 to let him know that she was being held hostage. That was the last time she heard from him. So I'm trying to figure out right now, and still it's not, I'm not getting this. Why was it not till 6 p.m. somebody found them? Now they could have been looking for them and didn't know where they were. That could have been a possibility, but I don't know. Okay. It says that her husband didn't hear from her again. It says it was far too early to say if they were chosen at random because investigators had not yet determined a motive. California Highway Patrol Assistant Chief Chris Charles said. However, Golick's father-in-law said she had recently ordered Wong removed from the program. Oh, okay. Wong had been an Army infantryman who served a year in Afghanistan from 2011 to 2012. He held a number of service awards, including one of expert marksmanship with a rifle. This Yountville is about 53 miles north of San Francisco and is one of Napa Valley's most upscale towns located in the heart of wine country. I don't want to go deep into reading all this to you guys. But yeah, the name of the home was Pathway Home, and it was a nonprofit organization that housed, it housed over 1,000 residents. Army veteran and resident Bob Sloan, 73, was working at the home's TV station when a coworker came in and said he had heard 4 gunshots coming from Pathway Home. Sloan sent out alerts for residents to stay put. A group of about 80 students who were on the home's ground were safely evacuated after being locked down. Napa County Sheriff John Robertson said the teens from Justin Siena High School were at the theater rehearsing a play. Wow, luckily they got out in time. So it just goes on to explain what happened. That's it. So that's the story about a veteran who, matter of fact, the question was they targeted? But if Golick was one of the people who ordered him away from the program, yeah, it was targeted for her. He went after her. Come on, that's common sense. You know what I'm saying? She was the psychologist, the 42-year, I think she was only 42 years old. And she was the one who told him that, you know, he no longer was needed in the program. So of course he went after her.
You said no longer needed in the program?
That's what she said. She no longer wanted him in the program. So she literally kicked him out.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Yeah. I don't understand that either. And it just seems like, to me, this is what I'm seeing. These type of things are happening all the time. Why are they happening? And why isn't there some type of resolution to these problems with veterans who need special care? Because I guaranteed you, he went from Afghanistan to, he was in Iraq and Afghanistan for 1 year. So what else did he do? And then in that year's time, you know, what we call a year in our time is like forever in Army and military time. So just imagine what he saw while he was there, or was victim of while he was there. Because it don't take nothing to traumatize you nowadays.
He was trying to get some help too, though. That's the thing about it. You can't deny that. He was trying to get some help.
You know what, too, another thing, too, when people feel like they can't give you no more help than what you already have, that would be another way to get rid of you, too. Unless he showed some type of violent act toward anybody, that would be a reason to escort him off the campus. But I don't see, it doesn't go into detail. You see what I'm saying? There's no detail behind what he did. Excuse me. Wow. But yeah, so,
But you know, like I was saying earlier, a lot of the veterans with the PTSD that end up taking lives outside of war, it didn't start with war.
Exactly. You're right.
It started with foster care. It started with no nurturing.
Yeah. And then you put them in a position, and you put them in a situation like the military. Military is not for everybody. It's a good thing, but it's not for everybody. Everybody's not cut out for it. And everybody's not cut out to stay in it forever. You have to have some type of mindset, and you have to have a job that you really, really love in order to do that. Something that you don't want to give up. And I'm quite sure with him being an infantryman, he saw a lot. You know, infantry is on the first line.
Right.
Those are our first line people. So they see stuff that we don't see. Okay.
And you have to look at too, like America is a killer itself.
Yeah.
Because they set up a society, a system where people feel like they have to become soldiers, not specifically to save America, but just to save their own lives, to have an income, to have an education, because they set it up where people become desperate.
Yes, exactly.
So it's not the mentality for war that sends people to war. It's desperation because of a system that's already in effect to take you out before you even have a chance to live.
That's right. You're so
They don't have to draft you anymore. All they got to do is make you desperate.
That's right. You're so right about that.
So we have a lot of children going to war because they were unnurtured, unprepared to have a decent life. And America just eating it up.
Yeah. Let's send them off to war. Now, their children won't go off to war because their children are going to be primped and pampered, and almost like your president didn't go. Okay, was drafted. They said he had bad feet or something, heel spurs or something, so he didn't go into the military. So you look at it from that standpoint, it's a norm to send our kids off to war. And it is what you're saying, it is an economic resource for them because that was the only way. And then you have a lot of our soldiers that are on welfare and food stamps. When our president was talking about taking people off of welfare and rationing food to them, you're going to affect your military, baby. You know what I'm saying? You're going to affect your military in a big way, because obviously you are not paying them enough to maintain their families. So obviously they have to have assistance. Okay. So when you look at that, so you're sending your soldiers off to war that can barely afford their families. So is it really good for our kids to go into the military financially? You know, even if they do know how to manage their money, is it really a good financial step we do to send our kids? You know, and
But
that's
America's under punishment.
Mm-hmm.
Because what's happening is the war is coming home.
Yes, it's coming home to roost. That's right. That's right. You're right. The war is coming home. And this war, we're warring against each other. The people who we send out there to kill others, and you think they're supposed to come back, they don't debrief people properly. They don't get them the help they need properly. So when they come back, they're ticking time bomb. Parents, husband, wives are constantly telling the VA, my husband is not acting right. My wife is not the same anymore. She's not talking. He's not talking. And they're telling them all the time, there is a problem. What do we need to do? And they're being blown off. I was talking earlier about a guy that killed himself here. The chain of reaction, or the chain of command, broke down. He called in, and they were supposed to do a follow-up. The follow-up was never done. He killed himself. So the blood is on the hands of our social workers and our case managers, simply because they didn't do their job. And we were talking also earlier about military people who are not military taking care of military people. I'm not saying that because you have a psychologist degree and you're a clinical psychologist, I think you should have some time in combat. I think you should have some time in the military so you can come back and understand what it is that most of the time soldiers go through. I know you're just dealing with the mind, but I think you need to also find out the emotion, because you're going by what a book tells you. You're not looking at them from the reality of this man. You got a grown man sitting in your office crying all the time. All you know is you know how to take care of him on the clinical side, but you should be able to feel that emotion, so maybe you can better take care of him if you have that one-on-one. You know, we don't keep, another thing to me is a problem is they're always changing up our doctors. You know, they never keep the same doctors. You're seeing 500 different people. You're telling your story over and over and over again. You're reliving that nightmare over and over again when you don't want to. So the system, I think, is broken. Just like we say, the education system is broken. The healthcare system is broken. The VA system is broken. So we got a bunch of broken systems that you have a lot of people running around with their heads chopped off, not understanding how to fix them. And in the meantime, we have casualties, okay? In the meantime, people are dying, you know? So what do we do? How do we fix this?
Well, for one thing that I have learned from Robin Lynn, you remember Robin Lynn, she hit it pretty much on the nail when she said, when the soldiers process out of the military, there is no debriefing, there's no getting it out their system like they do for the dogs.
Yeah.
They don't get it out their system before they put them back into civilization.
Exactly.
Because I always felt that they should have a place where they could go among their own kind.
Yep.
Because
I hear that.
You know, just to settle into the transition. You know, you just can't go from point A to point B. You should go from point A to B, then C, because that processing takes time. And if you're around someone you trust, because soldiers trust each other, I feel like there should be a place that they could go before they go even to their families.
Exactly. That's right.
I mean,
you're so right.
They can visit them, but they have this haven
to go to first.
I think that what happens when they return is not correctly handled. They just act like, people act like it didn't happen, like they just made a movie. No, they didn't make a movie.
Exactly. You are so right, and that's a great idea, Linda. That is an awesome idea. Maybe some of these bases that they've closed, turn them into transitional bases where people who are getting out, no matter where they're at, they can go to this base and live at least a good 2 weeks to debrief, to kind of to get, I say about 2 to 3 weeks, maybe even 30 days. After you 30 days getting out the military, let's 30 days debrief them. That's where the problems you can find. If there's some problems, those problems are right there. You find them right there. You make sure you're making notes of these problems so when they do get out, you can guide them in the right direction. And I think that's an excellent idea.
I feel that it takes time for you to unthaw reality.
Yes.
Because like I remember talking with my son, he said it was easier for him when he was in Iraq because he knew exactly what to do and who to save and who would save him. It was simple.
Yeah.
But when they come back to civilian life, they're coming back to people who haven't been where they've been.
That's right.
But the demands, expectations are exalted more so than it was before they left.
That's right. Life comes in.
People want you to catch up to them, not them catching up to them.
To you. That's right. That's right. I think that's an excellent idea. I think that is such an excellent idea.
Think about it. On the 4th of July, many soldiers don't want to hear those guns going off. At least
I can't do it.
Haven. That's one place they can go.
They can go, and you're not allowed to shoot off guns. You're not allowed to do all of that. All of that goes out the door. You have a time for peace and quietness, tranquility. Go to classes that are going to help you debrief and get back. And then have your family come visit you instead of you going to your family. Let your family come visit you.
And have an income.
Have an income. Have them already set up where they have money coming in. According to how many people in your family, how many children you have or whatever, and let them get that for those 30 days.
Right.
Or put them at 100% for 30 days. And once the 30 days
that's
over.
That's the least of time because it's a process. They was gone more than 30 days.
Yeah. And then at that time, the people who do have issues can be taken care of. They can be targeted and maintained until they get out, and then let them continue getting the care they need as they're when they get out, when they finish with the program. I think that's, you know what, Linda, we need to do that. We need to
think about it. America is a hostile environment.
Yes.
I mean, people are rude, from one hostile environment to another.
That's right. That's what you're doing. You're exactly right. So that is a great idea. You have yoga classes. You have everything you need for 30 days. We feed you. We clothe you. You don't have to worry about nothing. You get 100% that you can help with your family while you're in there in those 30 days. And then when you get out, we leave you with skills that you can get jobs or whatever, or even direct you, connect with your state that you come from. And then see if they can offer you some type of jobs or set up a system where you go into jobs if you can work, because some people won't be able to work. We have to look at that. Some people won't be able to work. Some people are going to need special care. And we set up the programs where they get that resource, where they get that special care. I guarantee you that wouldn't cost that much.
Well,
it wouldn't cost the American dollar.
Another thing, a lot of these soldiers is not coming back to a family.
That's right.
That loves them.
That's right.
They could be more of a problem than war because they're selfish.
Yeah.
They were just enjoying getting paid while he was gone, and they had control of things, and now they have.
He's coming back. Yeah, they got to
get that check. You know, so people don't even realize what these soldiers are going through, even with their spouses and their.
That's right, with their husbands and wives. That's right. Exactly. They come home to a change. You know, you've been away from your wife for forever. You're coming home. You know, she's probably changed, especially if you've gone a year or more away and you haven't had a chance to visit with her. And a lot of divorces start to happen. And then, too, a lot of other things that happen is domestic violence starts to come into play. So I think all of those could be programs that put together and have a one-on-one with the wife when she comes to visit, We give them an opportunity to visit them in the second week that they're there. Tell them to come in if they can, come down, get them there, and sit and do a one-on-one with them and the wife or the husband to talk about, okay, this is what's getting ready to happen. He's going to be transitioning into regular life now. These are the things that we ask for you to do because of the situation, his delicate situation or her delicate situation. Don't just push them out there, which they did to me. Like with me, I felt like they pushed me out there. It was like this big imaginary gate. They gave me my clothes, gave me some money, and then pushed me out. Do what you got to do. I was so lost that I moved to Kansas City, Kansas, and I moved into this apartment. And right directly across from my apartment was a reserve unit. I could not stand not being connected to people in military. I joined the reserve unit. And I was back in my uniform and I felt so much better. Wow, this is my life. I felt so much better living directly across the street from a reserve unit and going to that unit. And when I left, they were like, Sam, why are you not going to do all your time? It was no need. I guess I got what I needed out of it. And I
was your time.
But I needed that. But if I would have just had that prior to me getting out, I probably would have fared better. In my process, and I don't know about anybody else's process, in my process of transitioning into the world, I became homeless. Down to maybe 3 or 4 years later, I became homeless because I didn't know what else to do. I didn't, and it was nothing permanent. It was just trying to figure out what is my next move. And when you're single in the military and you have children, you got to keep that in mind too. Okay, because you're not only are you transitioning in, you have to transition that child into that situation too, because they've been out of it too. They've been with family and stuff, and you get them back, and you're working that out with them. At the same time, trying to work, knowing that you got a mouth to feed and do it all those things. So everybody's situation is not the same, but I think it's an excellent idea, and I think we should put together a proposal and send it in. Copyright it, make sure nobody don't take our game plan, copyright it and send it in to them, because I think it's an excellent idea. Just take one of those Army bases or military bases. Well, everybody can go together. It doesn't matter what service you came out of, because you would have help from each one of those services either way it goes. And put it on an old an Army base or whatever base that got closed down, that they're no longer using. Fix it back up and bring people in to give them that help. Everybody's not getting out at the same time, so you would only have them coming in like on a 30 days term. You know what I'm saying? I think that's an excellent idea.
And we're talking about PTSD because that's just something that I have a heart for, is PTSD. Yeah. And one of the things that I understand about it is it's not just our soldiers.
Yes.
That suffer with PTSD.
That's right.
I couple with another author, a male author, that's a veteran. Mm-hmm. And I have a book coming out soon called PTSD to Freedom.
Wow.
And the reason why I did this book with him was because my first book, Soldier with a Backpack, about PTSD, where I revealed that PTSD is not just a soldier thing. You can have it from the time you're a child.
Yeah, exactly.
And what I really wanted people to understand about PTSD is it's a normal reaction to life.
Yeah.
It saves you from dying. Mm-hmm. It saves you from a lot of illnesses. Mm-hmm. But today, I'm also discovering how people have taken PTSD and added bipolar, schizophrenia, manic depression. I mean, they're adding all kind of psychological illnesses to PTSD. Mm-hmm. And what my book that this other author and I are doing, William Sumner, is showing people how that the mind, how it, once it's injured, physically, emotionally, mentally, we as an individual have to find our way back. And just like our soldiers, we just talked about that transition. People need a transition back from traumatic experiences.
Exactly. You're right.
It's almost like America has become a walking time bomb. between, catastrophes.
Yeah.
The White House.
Yeah.
We need to realize we have to get a grip on our individual platform and be there for one another, because there's something out there.
Yeah.
I say there's something out there that's dark, that's trying to destroy people.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. You're so right about that.
And the sad thing about it, America plays a big part. Our White House plays a big part.
Well, when you look at it from a statewide situation, all the mental health clinics that the state stopped funding, that they've gotten rid. I know here for sure they've gotten rid of our mental health clinics, our programs and stuff. So we got a bunch of people, like you said, walking time bombs. You got more homeless people who need mental health help. They're not getting it, So you got to look at that from a whole perspective. And like you said, we have to blame it, put the blame where it belongs. It belongs on the United States, the White House, because the cuts were done while they were in office. And because of those cuts, this is the end result. And I believe they were designed and purposely done. That's what I believe. But holler about population control. What better way to control the population than to let all your mental health out so we can either they get shot or put in jail? What other way to do it?
That's what I was getting ready to say. That's what the whole thing about it. A lot of criminals are psychologically challenged
and damaged. Unnurtured. There's nobody out there to help them. That's why we have such a...
That's what they want.
Yeah, exactly. Because they keep hollering about population control. They keep hollering about the idea we have too many people on this earth. Okay, and I'm trying to figure out, and who are you? God now? You've been counting us? Okay, we can't do nothing because we're destroying. No, what's destroying America, what's destroying the world is you greedy capitalist. That's who's destroying the world. It has nothing to do with because we're too poor. We're too poor to be able to cut down a tree. We're too poor. We don't have the machinery. We don't own corporations. You do. So you're destroying the world, not us, but you want to get rid of us. It doesn't make any sense. Let's get rid of the poor because the poor is really bogging us down. No, because really the poor is not, because you're not spending the money you're supposed to spend on us.
You're creating the poor.
Yeah, you're creating the poor. That's right. Capitalism has created the poor. Okay. So for them to say that is crazy, but they do it. They do it. They say
well, just like when you said about those meals that now they want to control people's lives with these meals. You don't even know what they're made out of.
Yeah.
Is there a slow poisoning?
Yeah, slow poisoning situation. And you know what? When you think about it, if you've ever heard of, and I'm not, let me say this, I'm not about party affiliation, but I want to say this because I went to a meeting where a Republican was talking. One of the candidates for a Republican office here was talking, and I was listening to him, and it was like 3 Black people in the room. Everybody else was white. And I was listening to him talk, and I was like, he's directing that at us, the way he was talking. The mindset they have is that we lazy. All we want to do is have babies. We don't want nothing out of life, and we want to sit up on welfare and food stamps. When in reality, it's not us. It's not us. It's them who are on welfare. Corporate welfare, that's welfare. Okay? So how are you trying to point it at us? And it's so crazy how they think about us. It has nothing to do with us. You guys are the ones who's actually taking and sucking up public assistance. It's not us, because you have a lot of you guys unemployed and haven't been employed for a long time, okay? And that are on the benefits and the public assistance. It's not us, because we hustlers. We're going to make a way. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at that myth, and that it makes it hard for people to change that mindset, that you know, the poor is not supposed to have anything. The poor, I don't believe we're supposed to all be poor. I think a percentage of us should be, but I don't think everybody's. Now we're at a point where everybody's struggling.
I mean,
Okay?
blatant.
Yeah, outright blatantly struggling, you know, unless you're the top 1%. If you're the top 1%, you don't fall in the category. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's crazy. It is so crazy.
Well, that's just like, you know, I'm looking at one of the pluses of having Trump in office is that the world is actually seeing how the American people are actually being handled by its government.
Yep. Yes.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. We're no different than the communist countries.
They blatantly don't care anything about the American people. They're playing a game with our lives.
Yeah.
They don't even see us as human beings. They're looking at their big game among themselves.
That's right.
And it goes outside of America, and people act like our government care about us, like they're going to listen to us. They do not hear a word we are saying. They're laughing at us every time we protest. Anytime we don't like something, they say you might as well like it because this is what it is.
Yes, that's right. That's right. You're so right about it. And another thing I love the ideal that he's in office is he is nothing but a distraction. And what I'm learning is there's a movement. The millennials got a movement going on. African Americans have got a movement going on. The poor has a movement. People are not being deterred by what he's doing. He's just a distraction. People are being stronger, more powerful than they ever have been. No matter what he does, we still got to see, when he goes out of office, what we have to do, we still got to survive. We still got to make stuff happen. We still got to be part of the system. We still got to live. So either way it goes, whatever destruction he does while his time is in and while he's doing his term, afterwards, what is the aftermath? What have we learned after he gets out of office? What are we going to be doing after he's getting out of office? So we have to continue to live. We got to continue to prepare ourselves for when he goes home, whenever he does. I have this conversation with my husband about him being impeached. I don't see him being impeached. I think he's going to run his course because there is a purpose behind him being in the office. And I don't think they're going to let him go until that purpose is fulfilled. And because of that, we're going to have to still survive at the end, regardless.
Just like, you know, when President Obama was in office, you know, a lot of things was being exposed. And so the exposures continue. It's just
it continues. That's right.
Scale.
That's right.
It's not just about the little guy. You see how big the greedy man really is in America.
That's right. That's right. And it has to be revealed.
The people who've been complaining about this, like, you know, you want to call them poor or urban or whatever you want to call them, or anybody that's not white. Now they are beginning to see that we weren't just talking.
Yeah, that's right.
The abuse that we have experienced. I remember when 9/11 took place, I almost lost a good friend because she was dramatically responding to it.
Yeah.
I had to explain to her, I said, that was your 9/11. I have it 24/7 because I have 2 black boys.
That's right. There you go.
I said, when the garage door go up 2 times, I can say that no one harmed them.
This night
was unjust to them because there were times when my boys didn't do anything, pulled over by the police.
That's right.
They was just little high school boys because they had a nice car.
Yeah, they weren't supposed to have that. They weren't supposed to do that. They weren't supposed to have that. On the ground.
Yeah. And he's talking about 9/11. I said, I experienced 9/11 every day.
Exactly. Exactly.
You just got an idea of what our government is capable of because it was our government.
Yep.
They know what happened. That man wasn't sitting in that classroom reading a book for nothing when this took place.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, but see, they diehard believe that 9/11, and you cannot, some people you just cannot talk to. It was orchestrated, it was put together, it was meant to do exactly what it does. And we always fall for the okie doke. But what they're realizing, that's why the alternative news and the fake news came into play, because now we don't even have, people know that there is a change, there is something different going on. And more people are getting on that bandwagon and paying attention to the things that are different, okay? That the news can't even convince us anymore. That's how different it is. The
And see,
news can't convince us.
like me, I have always appreciated all races. Even though racism ran this country, it just could not take me away from trusting anybody that was not of my race, because it has been a proven fact that I have gotten good experiences among my own and not among my own. So it's not really about racism with me, but it's also being conscious of the fact that it has been some horrific experiences that have been encountered by races outside of my race, that you have to be aware of these possibilities. But that doesn't mean your heart have to be hardened, but you still have to deal with reality of what has happened. Like what's going on with the Indians. I mean, really?
Yeah.
That oil leak, you hear about that?
Yeah, the pipeline,
the pipeline. Yeah, I was like, come on, they did never want it.
Yeah, and I believe it was purposely done. I believe all of this stuff. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I believe a lot of things not are just happenstance happening. I believe they're purposely put together to happen on purpose. That's what I believe. That's just what I believe. And that pipeline, all that mess they went through to get that pipeline, and then it turns around and leaks. But that's not the first time it leaked. That's the second or third time, because I remember them reporting before about the leak that happened. And that's another way of killing off the Indians, because if it's in the drinking water, guess what? Somebody's going to die. How dare you come out against us?
Yeah.
Yeah, how dare you? See, America doesn't like to be challenged in their own backyard, even by their own people. But that's that system that was set up a long time ago. And this is the end result of it. And people are not lying down anymore or sitting down now and allowing all the stuff to happen. People are speaking up. People are speaking out. And people are trying to make a change.
I'm so proud of the way they stood up to the guns.
Yeah, with the guns. But my issue with that is, you ever hear of mass shooting in our schools?
Even when they do shoot, they go directly for a specific person.
That's right. So why is that? That was one of the questions that were asked.
Why is that? What is your take on that?
I think that the reason why we don't do mass shootings because it's not in our DNA. It's not in our DNA.
So what are you saying about the other DNA?
I'm just going to leave it at that. It's not in our DNA. I'm just going to leave it at that. We're not cut from that cloth. That's why you don't hear mass shootings at our schools. Okay? That tells you that we can handle much more. That's basically what I'm saying. If these kids were bullied, the whole excuse is these kids were bullied. They had mental problems, and you hear all these different excuses that when they were just pure evil demon seeds that that had some issues. Demon seeds. They were just demon seeds. Instead of we're not cut from that cloth. Now, I'm not saying it can't happen, but it's very rare. If it does, it's very, very rare, because we're not cut from that cloth. Just think about that. That's why I think we don't do it. Because like you said, if we're going to go after somebody, we're going after that individual. We're not going to take a whole bunch of people with us. That doesn't make any sense. If they didn't bully you, why are you trying to take everybody with you? But most of the time, they pick the ones who have bullied them.
But I
And it's more
would
than
say that every don't apply to all. It's
that's right.
specific people, no matter who you're talking about, it doesn't apply to all.
No, it doesn't.
Right.
And
The
again,
tendencies are there
yeah.
for specific, sets of people, but it don't
Mhm.
apply to all.
Yeah. I just think that we just not cut from that cloth. I just don't think we are. It's a whole different ball game. So, and I think they should stop making it a mental thing and just say what it is.
You say
That's all.
they call it a mental thing, but
I call it a demon seed.
Wait a minute though, when the gangs are
Mhm.
killing each other, it's not psychological at
No.
all. At all. But they kill each other though. There you go now. That's kind of massive.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little, what do you say for that? Because you was just saying how they have that tendency, okay, but when you look at gang-related issues, they're killing each other.
Mm-hmm. But they don't go to schools and purposely shoot them up. That doesn't.
Right.
No, that's not going to work because most gangs are fighting each other over territories that they don't really own because they don't own, most of the time don't own nothing, not even the clothes on their back. But I'm saying that is a whole different ball game because they're not literally going and planning and premeditating to go into schools and kill other students, okay, and kill teachers. That's not what gangs do, okay?
So how do you, okay, let's talk about the gang aspect of killings. How do you think they are able to just do that?
I think it's because they're taught to do that. In a gang, you're supposed to take care of your own. That gang life does that to you. That's part of you being in a gang is to protect each other. If somebody says something to you, you're supposed to get mad and you're supposed to shoot them. If somebody steals something from you, you're supposed to get mad and shoot them. But what's happening with the gangs nowadays, and they're not talking about it, gangs are not like they used to be. Okay? I'm not saying all the shooting is still not going on, but it's not like it used to be. They're starting to work together because they see there's a greater need. They are so influential to our little kids, but they see that there is something different that needs to happen. And when Minister Farrakhan and some more of the leaders got together and spoke to them, a lot of them have changed their mindset about how they run their gang and turning it into something very powerful. There's some young men who, one was from the Crips, another one was from the Bloods. I can't remember where this at, but they opened up a restaurant together. Okay, so they're seeing a greater need, and the need is us stop fighting each other and let's make this different. Let's make this different, and that's the biggest fear the others have of us actually coming together and being a change. That's the biggest fear is us uniting. So if they want to keep us divided, they're going to do everything they can to keep us divided because we're powerful when we get together. They know it. We don't know it and we don't recognize it, but they do. And that's why it's easy to divide us or pit us against each other. Crab in the barrel mentality. You're light-skinned, you're better than me because I'm dark-skinned. Because that's where it started. That's literally where it started. The color of our skin. You know, back in slavery, the light-skinned woman stayed inside and the dark-skinned woman went to field.
Hey.
You know.
Hey. But you know what, mentioning that, it was not easy being a light-skinned person when I was coming up.
Why?
A lot of people felt like it was because they used to say things like I was a doo-doo color. Like I was not pure. You know, the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. It was like, you know, like I was less.
Wow.
So even though a lot of people play that up pretty tough, it was not an easy experience for me. And then people prejudged me they assumed that I was high on myself.
Yeah.
Not realizing what my journey as a child being abused was about. So they never saw me as a person. They saw me as a light-skinned girl.
Yeah, that's how it does. That's how
it really didn't. I didn't see no benefits of it.
Well, a lot of people who look like you did, and they used it. Okay.
Yeah.
They used it to their benefit, and it worked for them. I can't say I don't know how it feels to be light-skinned because I am dark-skinned. So I got a whole different mindset. I got a whole different situation. I got called Blackie, big lips, big nose. I got all those kind of names. Nigga nose.
Is this among our own people?
Yeah, by our own people. That's right. Yeah. So I got a whole nother flavor. And I was the darkest one, and it's 5 girls in our family, and I was the darkest one. So you can imagine how that is. I have a sister as light as you. I have 3 sisters that are real light skinned, and then there's me and another sister, but I'm darker than all of them. And for a long time, I thought I was this ugly thing. Okay, didn't realize that my color, to me now, it's powerful. I love me. If nobody else does,
I don't see why you wouldn't. I always told you were pretty.
I know, but you know what? A person who has self-esteem issues don't take compliments very well, and I don't. I love doling people with compliments, but I am not good with taking compliments at all. And I know I should be working on that, but I don't. I don't take compliments very well. I don't have that. I don't know. I'm just not. I don't know. I just have issues with that. I do. And I'm serious. I have to look at myself and say, you're not bad looking. But
so are you saying that came from the family structure or outside the family structure?
It came from both. It came from both. From outside the family structure and inside. My sisters can be very mean. You know how we are, women are. We can be very mean. We can say some very, very vicious things to each other when you're mad. And so with that being said, not only was I getting it from home, I was getting it from, students, classmates that thought I was too dark to play with and too dark to be around. Oh, yeah. So.
But today you are.
I'm a lot better, but I don't have to deal with a lot of people anymore.
Hey, Celeta, you are on the Truth Will Set You Free show. Give us a truth to remember you by.
Definitely. My truth to set you free is, do not change your flavor to fit anybody's taste buds. Okay?
All right. You have to come back. We have to do another segment.
You definitely gonna have to do another segment.
It was such a pleasure to have you on our show.
Thank you for inviting me. You got a show coming up too, coming on my end. Yes. On UCN, okay?
And I look forward to that.
Great. Thank you again, and have a great night.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.